Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this extended version of the Swing Trading Show. I'll be introducing the president of Golden Hope just in a minute before, just to make sure we're going to run out of time and and explain you where this company comes from. I have a little historical here. You have to know that this region has been looked at since 1830, and this is the region where they found the largest. I don't know how we say pipit in English. Yeah. Nugget. Oh, yes, nugget. Yes. But not McDonald's nugget, but gold nuggets. And among the biggest, like something like 45 ounces or so. I mean, that was such a big thing. It's unbelievable. But ever since, there haven't been a lot of work done out there until recently. And because of the Casa Berardi in northern Quebec. So everyone head toward there because there was a lot of discovery. But actually, Golden Hope is present there since the 1980s. And now we see a few other companies in the area. So other than Golden Hope, you have Fan Camp that is present in this area also, and Bullmore Exploration that are present. But let's talk more about the Golden Hope companies. They do have the Bellechasse property, and they own 100% of this property. It seems to be a quite big mineralized segment, about 20 kilometers long. So the company has a property right in the middle of it, and they do have other property each side of it, like south and north of it, and and they plan to do a lot of things out there. They have found some traces of things already, and the president is really excited about that. So someone has made some quartz discovery in the area also. The company has now some money. They just made a fresh financing. They have $4.5 million ready to be spent in doing different things. We'll ask the president about that. And the first thing we will be talking to him is about the management, because they have some impressive names on their management. So, Mr. Welcome to our show. How do you do?
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I'm the one that's getting nervous.
Don't be nervous.
Because and you told me about your management. And I just discovered it this morning because couldn't find it on your internet site. But you have some people that had lots of experience already.
Yeah, we made a lot of changes in the last year especially. I mean, we've got a fantastic technical team. There's no doubt about it. Jim Tilsley, who's our chief geologist, is considered one of the top specialists in the area. So we're happy to have the technical team run by him. But on the board of directors, we made some big changes this year. The first was adding Robert Stocks to the board, who's a senior lawyer at Fasken Martineau, which is one of the largest Canadian law firms, if not the largest Canadian law firm in Canada. And we wanted to send a clear message that corporate governance was something we took very seriously. And through that, we were able to go out and get a couple of other key candidates, like Marc Drouin. Marc is from Montreal, formerly with Alcan, Rio Tinto, and Anglo-Pacific, senior guy, big picture guy, excellent addition to our board from the big mining background. And then most recently, we added Michael Zarowski, who's a geological engineer. And you may hear a lot more about Michael Zarowski, as you have been hearing about Baffinland in the news recently. So, you know, we've got technical experience, we've got big mining experience, and we've got, a big-time lawyer on the board. So I think we've got the basis covered now in terms of the type of experience we want on that board of directors. So I'm very proud of that.
So how many outstanding shares the company has right now?
Approximately 115 million out, and then fully diluted about 145 million.
And a few options with it?
Yeah, there's options and warrants outstanding, about 21 million warrants, I believe. And the average cost on most of those warrants is around 25 cents. And then there's some options outstanding also at an average cost of about 26 cents. Those options were issued to management and directors this year, in 2010 in the summer. So those are all fresh options.
Okay.
And then the past options all expired at the end of September 30th, 2010. So that's it.
I found that because of what I could see on your site and what I've learned from you here this morning, I found the stock fundamentally a little cheap right now. It's been going higher than that. Maybe could you explain to us a little bit within the recent pattern of the stock? What happened? We know that you had some financing here in the month of May. But after that, it really went up, and this was because of the some result that you had.
Well, I think it's a number of things. First of all, in our business, you have to have money, and when you have money, you attract attention because people want to know that you can spend money and actually move the project forward. So I think the big thing that happened was, the first thing was we did a big bulk sample, and that really brought attention to what we were doing because we show clearly that the type of deposit we have, the larger the sample, the higher the average grade. So with that bulk sample, we showed very clearly 720 tons that we had a 3-gram average. That was the first thing. The second thing is we financed at the end of May, and we put $3 million in the company's coffers to advance the project. And again, when you've got money in the bank, people look at your company much more seriously than when you don't. Thirdly, we found a discovery, or made a new discovery, some 6.2 kilometers to the south of the main area that we've been working on, which is called Bellechasse-Timmins. So all of a sudden, we not only talked about a potential deposit, an economic deposit potentially, but we now talked about extending that deposit potentially to the south by 6.2 kilometers. So all of a sudden, we're talking about the potential for multiple deposits to exist over a large, area. And that's really what brought the interest into the stock, and which, precipitated the stock, bringing on volume and increasing in price. And today we're trading at approximately a $45 million market cap.
And this was mostly because of the discoveries, this first movement here. And what was the reason for the second movement here when it went to $1?
Well, we had a number of things that happened that we were lucky with. We had an appearance on BNN through James West, which brought more interest to our company. Jay Taylor had visited, and all these people, by the way, had all visited our site. And one of the key advantages that we have, given where we are in southeastern Quebec, I live in downtown Montreal, door to door, 3.5 hours with my car maximum. That's even in bad weather. And not only can I drive to the office, which is in Saint Justine, the small town, but I can actually drive my car right onto the property. There's road access, which is incredible. We're an hour to an hour and a half away from Quebec City. So we've had an unbelievable amount of visitors, from shareholders to institutions to analysts that have come to the property. And often seeing is believing when they see how you run your business and the professionalism in terms of running your project. So we had a lot of people come visit our property. We had some interest from some outside analysts, etc., and that really helped propel the stock higher. And if you look at the stock chart, and we hit, I think the high was 98 cents,
yeah.
And then all of a sudden, boom, we fell off a cliff.
Exactly.
We announced results, which we were quite happy with, and a lot of people thought that perhaps the results were not good because the stock took a big dive. But really, when you look at it, we did a $3 million financing at the end of May. 4 months and a day later, which brings us right around to that time, that stock's trading at 98 cents. So you've got 18-cent stock, 4-month hold, 98 cents. And, with a full warrant at 25 cents, it's almost hard to imagine that anyone would not want to take profit off the table. So we took it in the chin. We actually traded, I think, 30 million shares in that following week. So, and then after that, once you have a downward pressure like that, you sometimes fall into a psychological issue where people start getting nervous, etc. But I think we've passed that now. We've had, stabilization in our stock, and I think our chart looks good. So,
but according to my point of view, after analyzing with your company with my analyst, you're sitting about the same place where you were in 2007, but you got more right now to offer than you had in 2007, because now you have more claims, you have more precision about where it could be the deposit, and you have some result already. So that's why I find the stock looks cheap at the moment. And if you look at it on a long-term perspective, you got a lot of volatility, but you're still in an uptrend.
Yeah.
So it appears technically to be at a bottom right now. So a bottom means at a support level where it seems to be holding quite well. So is it some of the possibility that you have to hold the stock and support the stocks?
Well, first of all, Michel, we've spent north of $10 million on the property, which, since the beginning of 2007. So that's a tremendous amount of money. So absolutely, we're not the same company we were in 2007. We've got a stronger board, stronger team on the ground as well, and we know the direction that we're going into. So the second thing is that what we're trying to prove is the potential for multiple deposits of gold on one part of our property. We've got many projects in Bellechasse or in the Beauce, but we're only talking about one of those projects. And on this project, all of a sudden, whereby we thought potentially we had one deposit, now all of a sudden the potential looks like we may have multiple deposits. And again, we don't know the grade of all those deposits. We still don't know, if they're economic or not. We're not at that stage yet. But what's going to change for us in 2011 is we hope to have our first resource estimate, which will put a base on our stock, and then we can expand from there. And that's tremendous because there's never been a resource estimate done on any deposit in that region outside of asbestos, as we all know. So in terms of gold, and I think that's something to really look forward to in 2011. So I think we've got our work cut out for us, but I think the future looks bright for Golden Hope Mines and its shareholders.
I know that the cost to make the holes and to do the prospection is a way lower there than if you have to do everything by helicopters and up north, because you're right, you're almost in town there. As you said, you can drive your own car on the property, so it should take the drilling cost lower than any other company.
Well, first of all, we use Forage Mercier out of Val d'Or. They've been tremendous. We pay around $85 a meter. Of course, if you go deeper...
That's the price, $85 a meter.
Right, that's for drilling, but there's a lot more that goes into the cost of calculating what it costs you because, preparation, etc., handling of material, etc. But that said, the proximity is tremendous. I mean, there's a steakhouse across the street from our office. People come to the property, and the first thing they see that they can't believe is that you can drive everywhere. There's electricity. There's everything you could possibly want. If Golden Hope is successful in turning this project into a mine, well, you couldn't possibly wish to be in a better place than where we are in southeastern Quebec. So we've got all the elements we need. All we need now is to prove what we've got in a way that the market will appreciate, and then the future is ours. So I'm very excited about. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work convincing. It's a lot of work going out and getting money, etc. But at the end of the day, we've got a project I think that sells and a project that's marketable, and for that reason we're here talking about it. So.
And I know gold does not have such a bad reputation as the gas has, with all the what we know around all of the big fighting from the population against the gas, the schist, and gold doesn't take as much water too, so you shouldn't have that much environmental problem out there.
Well, we're working with a firm called Roche, and we're going to be working much more closely with them. They're a Quebec-based firm. We're going to make sure that we follow all the regulations, all the laws that we need to. The other thing we do, Michel, that's very important is we hold town hall meetings in the towns surrounding us, in Saint-Magloire, in Saint-Justine, Lac-Etchemin. So we go and we talk to the people about what we're doing, what the work is, why we think there's an economic benefit to what we're doing. And I mean, it shows. We hire everybody that works from us outside of some people in our technical team that come from outside of Quebec. Everyone, I'd say 90% come from the region. So our field manager, Danny Boyard, is from Saint-Justine. Our office manager, Sylvain Ouellette, is from Saint-Justine. All of the staff that works in Saint-Magloire is from Saint-Justine or from that area. Two of our geologists, in fact, come from the area as well, from the towns in the area. So we are very conscious to do as much as possible to take as much money and spend it not only on the property, but spend it on hiring people that come from the area as much as possible. So Golden Hope, I think, has been a fantastic corporate company in the area, and we're proactive in terms of making sure that people know exactly what we're doing, and we're working with the right type of environmental firm to make sure that we're crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's.
You did a lot of prospection in the last years, and you came out with the partial results so far. So there are still results to come that you didn't came out with.
There's lots of results to come out. I mean, there are a lot of historical results that we've used. I mean, results that Golden Hope drilled, years previous through joint ventures and on their own. And then, of course, there are results that we did in 2006, 7, and 8,
yes,
and 9. And then this past year, 2010, was very significant. We drilled 16,000 meters. That's more than's been drilled historically since the beginning of the 80s for Golden Hope Mines.
Do you have any result yet on this?
We published some results, as you saw from the chart, in September. And we have
And the reason of the big drop here?
Well, at around that time, but I'm not so sure that the drop was as a result of the results that we published. But we've got many more results. We expect to be publishing those results over the next weeks and months, and so we're excited. And shortly we're going to resume our drilling campaign. And I got to tell you, Golden Hope has never drilled in January, February, March, or April, as far as I know, historically. And so this will be the first time, in my opinion, that Golden Hope has ever drilled in the winter months. So we're very excited. We're moving forward aggressively. We're financed. We've got the interest. I think we just got to keep moving and move fast, and that's it.
Timing is on your side. We'll have no snow this year.
Well, in the Beauce, there's a little bit more snow than there is here, like usual, but the fact is, we're very lucky. There's not much snow, but still, because we're working in a confined area, snow in and of itself doesn't pose a problem in terms of drilling. Where snow can pose a problem is trying to move the drill from one area to another. I mean, it's like anything else. You got to, plow, roads, et cetera, to get there. But for us, we don't have that issue, so we can work right through the year. We're very lucky. So I mean, all of that stuff works out really well for us.
A company of your size would be using how many drill at once?
We're using one drill right now. The possibility exists in 2011 that we would be adding a second drill. We have not crossed that road yet, but we're looking at that very carefully. I mean, what we're looking to do potentially, again, no decisions have been made yet, but potentially is to have one drill strictly for definition drilling and one drill for continued exploration drilling. And that way we can hit both, at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's why, for us, the goal this year is very clear. We want a resource estimate this year in 2011, but we want to continue to do our exploration drilling. But it's always wise, before you continue too quickly on your exploration drilling, to get all the data as much as possible, because you got to know where you were to know where you're going.
You don't want to waste.
We don't want to waste. So we will possibly continue some exploration drilling, but at a certain point, we're going to have to stop or pause and get all that data in before we decide where to go next. But for sure, we want to work on a definition drill campaign, and we expect to start that shortly.
And just for the benefit of our viewers, how fast it is for drilling a hole, just for fun. When you drill a hole, you go approximately how deep?
Well, the average hole I'd say that we drilled is somewhere in the 200-meter vicinity, the average hole. But we've drilled holes this year that were 800 meters or 700 meters true depth. So we've drilled some deep holes.
That's almost a kilometer.
Yeah, so the average hole is around 200 meters, 150 to 200
meters. How long
meters.
does it take, let's see, to drill one hole, 200 meters? It depends on the type of rock, I know, but approximately.
It also depends the type of drillers you have and, their work hours, etc. With Forage Mercier, we're very lucky. We have 2 shifts working day and night. So it's 24 days, 7 days a week, 2 weeks on, 1 week off. So we're drilling approximately 100 meters a day at a shift,
100 meters a shift.
Right, so that's pretty impressive, actually.
Yeah, that's 300 feet.
So we've been very lucky, but we've got a crew that works diligently, and they've got fantastic equipment. We've had very little breakage in terms of equipment, so we're very happy to be associated with Forage Mercier. We can't say anything better than we can about them than we've already said. They're fantastic.
And after you drill a hole, you completed a hole. what you do? You take the carrot out, you put it, you laid it down somewhere, and do you send it all to the lab?
No. What happens is when you drill the hole, they take the core out and they put it in core boxes, and then the core boxes get moved to our lab. Our lab is in Saint-Magloire, the office is in Saint-Justine, so it's sort of right in between where the property is. So they move it to the lab. At the lab, the geologist looks at it and logs the core. That's the first thing that's done. And then the geologist determines what part of the core we want to cut and send half that core to the lab for assaying. Because what it is, it's like taking a picture. We keep one half the core as the negative. We send the other half the core to the lab. This way we have the proof of the other half of that core. And that's the process. And, so the drilling is one thing, but then the moving of the core to the lab, the cutting of the core, all of that is a whole other process. And then, of course, another delay is waiting for the assay results from the lab. So
that takes time because there aren't that many labs.
No, it takes time, and it's also a matter of the economy. Right now, we're in a bull market for gold, as you know, and so I don't need to tell you the labs are inundated with work.
Exactly.
And when we're not in a bull market, then you get stuff back very quickly because there's not a lot of work out there. But right now, the labs are all operating at probably beyond full capacity.
And approximately how long could it take before you send sample to a lab and they come with the result?
It's different for every company because, with us, what we do is we do two types of analysis, right? We do fire assay to begin with, and because of the type of deposit we have, and then if we see any type of mineralization above a certain level, in our case it's above 25 parts per billion, then we send that core, we ask to get that resampled or reassayed through full pulp metallic. So that really extends the delay in terms of us getting our results back. But I think that our shareholders are aware of that and they understand the process, etc., and they understand that it takes a little bit longer, but it's the type of process that we need for our type of deposit. So,
do we have any idea? Let's say just the guys that drills, the guy that's on shift is putting the drill down, and then the stuff's coming back. And we saw some picture on your internet site, that on your website, that you can sometimes actually see the nuggets on the core. So does it happen sometimes and say, oh yes, I got the jackpot or whatever, just looking at it?
Well, yeah. Well, one of the things we get often because of the type of deposit we have is what we call visible gold.
Yeah.
And I mean, some people hear the word visible gold and they imagine some large piece of gold, but sometimes visible gold is as small as what you can see with your eye, and it could be half the size of your nail. So it's not a big piece of gold.
No,
right?
no.
But the drillers are trained and they know, and often by the time our field manager or our geologist gets to the drill to transport the core, they've already said, hey, we've seen some visible gold in this core. So absolutely they know what they're looking for and they know what they see. So
Frank, in the last minute we have, is there anything you want to see, that you want to encourage people to keep following your company?
Yes. At the end of the day, we're in southeastern Quebec. Infrastructure-wise, you can't ask for more. The only reason, in my opinion, that companies haven't gone there before is that there's never been a discovery. And no one wants to be the trailblazer. We are the trailblazer in southeastern Quebec. It's not been fun. It's not been easy. But ultimately, if we're successful, we'll be the first. And as a result, you see that all these other companies have flown and come into the area, and more interest is coming into southeastern Quebec. So I think Golden Hope has really been at the forefront of that, and eventually, hopefully, our shareholders will get paid off, accordingly.
Mr. President, we are very pleased you came out to explain all of that to our viewers, and I hope you'll be coming back.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. See you tomorrow.
Merci beaucoup.